Hi, I'm Lewis. Thanks for listening to my talk, my study of love. I said we're breaking up. We looked at each other and we didn't really say anything meaningful. Everything that happened was an absolute blur. She packed her bags and left. This time for the final time. I was lost. I was sad, of course. But mostly I was annoyed. Because our relationship had everything going for us. We'd been together for 3 years. We've known each other for 7 years. And we get along really nice. And yet we felt nothing anymore. I look at her and I feel nothing anymore. And I didn't know what was wrong. And what was even more frustrating was that I realized I was alone. I realized I had no friends. I realized that no one cared about me except for my family. And I didn't care about anyone else, including my family. I realized I was one selfish motherfucker. But that didn't make sense. I had love. I have so much love of my family. And I love my friends. And I loved my ex. And it wasn't at that moment, but it was because of that moment that I finally understood that I didn't understand love. But wait. Love can't be that hard, right? Everybody does love. I mean, let's just pull up the dictionary, right?
Love.
Love. Easy. Love. It's an intense feeling of deep affection, right? Fondness, tenderness, warmth, intimacy, attachment, great interest or pleasure in something, a deep romantic sexual attachment to someone. That's love, right? What was wrong? I felt those for my girlfriend. I felt those for my parents. I felt those for my family, for my friends. And what's wrong is that, in my opinion, these definitions of love are incorrect. My suspicions aren't completely baseless or without data backing it up, either. According to some studies, up to 40 to 50% of married couples in the US end up in a divorce. That seems very high for something so important in your life. Okay, so if I can't rely on pop culture or the dictionary to find my answer for true love, where can I find the answer? But first, let me tell you the answers I've arrived at, and I will tell you the story of how I arrived at these answers. Love. Verb. Selfless act of caring and giving catered to the specific individual or group. I have 3 examples in mind that I would like to share to you about how I discovered this type of love. Number 1 is my friend Alan Deutsch. During my dark times of my breakup, he oftentimes invited me to his balcony, invited me out to eat food with him, and just in general had a good time together. It might not seem like much, but Alan always has an artful way of inviting the right people and setting up the right event for the people. Every time I've gone to one of his events, it's always been something that I've always wanted to try or something that I deeply enjoyed. And it felt like it was always catered to me. And if anyone has the pleasure of being Alan's friend, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about as well. One of the things I would like to point out is that Alan's balcony is freaking gorgeous. I love the way he has set up his balcony with couches, wooden floor tiles on the ground. Always has a nice hookah and weed setup. It is decorated with art. It is just beautifully designed with these lanterns. Now, see, the thing is, I have a balcony too. This is what my balcony looks like. Uh, Honestly, I would say my view is pretty competitive to Alan's view, but what I'm trying to point out is that this balcony did not happen on its own. When Alan was decorating this balcony, he had the idea of friends coming over and having a good time. He could have used the time and the money that he spent ordering the couches and floor tiles on video games, on movies, on travel, or on his girlfriend. But Alan specifically invested and sacrificed his time for his friend's enjoyment. If that's not true love, what is? And if you know Alan, he's surrounded by loving friends and family. His career has been very successful ever since leaving college. And I don't think that's an accident or can be only attributed to him being very smart. Another great example of true love is parenthood. The parents have to sacrifice their time, their youth, their sleep, a lot of money to a little meat monkey that literally can't do anything but fart and poop. I would like to point out that the love between the pet and the owner is very similar to true love. And interesting enough, if you look into the Bible, I'm not religious, but if you look into the Bible, the Jesus' notion of love is very similar to my notion of love. And in fact, at some point within the verses of Bible, you can basically define that if you love, if you're capable of giving love, you are a Christian. Because anyone who does not know love does not know God, because God is love. Love is from God, and whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. Again, I'm not religious, but I find that the Bible is a great place to look at the origin of morals, not necessarily an explanation of how the universe exists, but how the foundation of our modern day morals has been formed. And whether Jesus was man or God, his ultimate show of love, his ultimate teaching of love was crucifying himself. And when you're dead, you literally can't receive anything back. And I think no matter what, he was a man that wanted to show and teach people how to love. He showed that he loved people so much that he was willing to die for it, to show them how to actually love. See, the beautiful thing about this type of love is that it could be applied to anyone and any being. It could be applied to your friend of the same sex. It could be applied to a friend of a different sex. It could be applied to someone that you're romantically interested in. It could be applied to your friend, your family. And the most interesting thing is that it could be applied to yourself. Because back in the day, I didn't care about myself. For my career, I was willing to sacrifice my health, my sleep, my everything. I didn't care about my hairstyle. I didn't care about my food. I didn't care about how I slept. And I felt terrible. I honestly felt terrible. As hard as I tried to be amazing at my career, I freaking sucked because I was always sleepy. I couldn't focus. My body was always on fight or flight. And it looked awful. After I practiced this type of caring and giving to myself, like getting clothes, taking care of my hair, catering everything specifically to myself and spending time on myself, I felt so much better now. And this is really the reason why I'm here today, is that I was able to love myself a lot more better. It's not just an affectionate feeling for myself. It was caring and giving to myself, basically. And I found the ability to love the opposite sex without needing the feeling of sexual attraction or needing forever ever after. And I was able to love friends of the same sex and not feel gay or any special way other than loving them. And I found ways to love my family and take care of and spend and invest time into talking to my grandparents and invest time and energy into calling my parents every week and caring about their health and everything that they're doing. It is truly a magical adventure ever since I discovered true love.